Okay, so now you can see we get taken to the Utterli website, and if you already have a sign-in, you can go ahead and do that, but most of us probably don't, so you're gonna have to say join Utterli. So you're gonna go ahead and create an account with an email, my email at email, and then I'm gonna give it some kind of password. Type a password. You can type in your mobile number. And do it again. And then where did you find it? You don't have to do that actually. And you can say I'm 13 years old, and then you would click join.
Once you join Utterli, be sure to email your professor and let us know that you've got an Utterli account and you're ready to be invited to a group. You have to actually have the Utterli account first, and then they'll be able to get to a group much easier later. Once you've sent an email to your professor and we have invited you to the group, then you're going to get an email that looks very much like this. You've been invited to whatever group you've been invited to by Christy B on Utterli. And then you would say to join, you'd go click on that and say visit this link, and then you would go use your login and go log into your account, and then you would be able to find your group.
Alright, so this will take you to your home Utterli page, and you will see in here, this is what are you doing. You might see some sent utters if you're part of a group. You may see nothing here, might see you don't have any utters yet. And what you're going to do is you might want to go and see your group. So you can go up here and say your groups, because you're going to try to find your groups. So if you're in if you're in the iTech class, you would go there. If you're in the one of the social work groups, you would probably have these. You probably don't have all these options that I have because I've set up all these classes. But we'll say that we're going to go into this iTech group. We go in there, and then you're in this group, and you can see what is happening within that group. So you can see that there's the week 2 introduction, week 3 introduction. So you can add to this utter by actually typing something in if you want. You can add an audio file if you'd like. So here would be your audio. You would go in and say upload audio. So I could upload this. It can't be larger than 30 megabytes. If you already have this, I can record audio. So by doing that, I just click on the record audio, and then I will go in and say, it might give you some kind of thing, and you say just sure, I would like to use my microphone, camera and microphone. So we're going to just say yes. And then you can see that it's recorded. You can see this. And so to record this, all I would do is hit record, and now it's recording what I'm saying. So we'd have a double take there. So that's how you're going to do that. So when we're done with that recording, we just hit stop.
Record,
I decide what
and now it's
I want
recording
it to go
what
into.
I'm saying. So we'd have a double
I'm
take
going to have
there.
it go into.
So that's how you're going to do it. So when we're done with that recording, we just hit stop.
I'm going to have it go into this one, because this is kind of my working group, and I can add tags if I want, and then I would just say send. Okay, so it's going to uwweb.2. You want to make sure that it's going into whatever group you have. So if you're in one of these social work group A or whatever, you want to make sure it goes into that. You may not have all these options because you don't have as many groups, but if you do end up with groups, you'll get that. So we'll say send. And now we'll go back to my groups and find that WebTube group, and we'll say go into there. And you'll see that this is the one that we just heard. That's the one I just created today. You can see that I did it because it was 18 seconds ago. So there's that particular one. And you can see that I could name it whatever I wanted. So that's how you create that. If you wanted to add a video, you can actually do that as well. And you can upload a video, or you can record a video. So if you wanted to record a video thing and you had a web camera, you would do this, and it would connect, and we'll say allow once again. And there you go, there I am. And it's okay, so that we're just going to cancel that because it's the same process. And then finally, if you want to add it from your phone, then you would call, the number you're going to call is going to be different than this, but there will be a call number. You're going to call, and it will add it, and you're going to call that number, and it'll say, you're going to add to your Utterli, and you'll talk through your thing, and then you'll hang up. And once you're finished hanging up, then what's going to happen is if you go to home, you'll get this inbox. If you go to the inbox, you will find, okay, so I went and I went to the home page, and you'll see your recent utters, and you'll see that 28 seconds ago, actually this is the one I just created, but 28 seconds ago I actually created another one. And let's take a listen to this real quickly.
Okay, so this is an example of calling that phone number that I talked about earlier, and I've called that phone number, and now I'm creating an utter that will show up on my Utterli, and then once it's created and shows up there, I'll show you what to do with it then. So talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right, so you see what happened there, and you can see that it's not very useful right there, but I'm going to go ahead and say, go ahead and edit it, say edit, and I'm going to say edit, and I'm going to call this Utterli demo cell phone. And I can give it, I can say, you know, whatever I want to say here, and then I can say, I want to call it, I'm going to call it, I'm going to add it, oops, I got to scroll up a little bit. I can now add an image to go with it or whatever, but I'm actually going to put it in one of my groups, and I want to put it in my, let me pull this up. I can put it in my Web 2.0, UW Web 2 group, and so you would want to, that's where you're going to send it. So basically it comes to the one, it's like an email. Think of it this way. You have a email, you have your email addresses, and your email comes here, so this file is coming to your basic account, and now I want to put it into a specific folder so that I can keep organized. So I'm going to add it to that. So I've done that. I'm going to say send. And you can see it still stays here because these are all of my utters. But now if I go to my groups and I go to my UW Web 2 group, you'll see that I have the Utterli Demo cell phone. And you can see that I have that there. I also have the Audio Demo built-in audio. So that's how this is done. And so hopefully that will help you and figure stuff out. Remember that there's a couple of things is whenever you're doing it, if you don't want it to be, when you edit these things, if I go in here and say, click on this and say edit, remember that you might want to make them private if you're doing it for a class. So make sure that private button is fairly important if you're wanting to do it for a class. So and then you also let me check this one too. We can do that one too. You know, once again, this one's private. So that's always important. And the other thing that's important is making sure that you get it into the right, you actually send it. The confusion is that if it's here, if it's in your inbox, you actually need to send it to your group for the rest of your group to be able to see that. Well, I hope this was helpful, and we'll be able to work better with Utterli. Bye-bye.